series in certain years, especially in the 01 and the 2002 postseason runs. You can go look at them series by series. And in some of those series, actually, not even some, a good portion of those series, Kobe's true shooting percentage is on par with Shaq's. Probably like 2%, 2 or 3% lower than what Shaq's was for that series.
Talking about Kobe, I gotta ask this that I also saw in this tweet. They were talking about the 60-point game Kobe had in his last game. His true shooting percentage was 54. He shot 50 shots to 60 points. Would you call that efficient?
What was the league average that year?
I don't know.
Around that, like 53 probably. What is it, 16?
2016, the league average was 54%. So if for that game,
I'm just taking that game, not the whole.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If for that game, he was if for that game he was right at 54% as well, then he was at league average. He was league average.
So you would call it an efficient game?
I would call it a league average game. That's what I would call it. A neutral game, a league average game.
All right.
But why? But again, you're saying that it took. So let's go.
Now I was just saying it because I highly consider that game like he was just shot chucking, bro. I mean, 60 on 50 shots is just, by saying it sounds crazy.
Yeah, but you realize that? Okay. Let's take it a step further back. Okay, when a player is averaging in 2000 and 2003, Kobe averaged 30 points on 23 shot attempts. Was that shot chucking?
How many shots? I started eating
23 shots.
23 shots on.
He scored 30 points on 23 shots. Is that shot chucking?
I mean, no, but if you compare 60-point games to this specifically,
I get that, but the
60-point
gap
game to others.
But you're looking at his shot attempts versus how many points he scored. The gap between the two is just 10. If you go look throughout everybody else, that's normally what it is. LeBron in 2008, it took him 22 shot attempts to average 30 points. That's an even smaller gap. Is that shot chucking?
To be fair, when you get
is that shot chucking?
I think bringing up Kobe's last game.
I'm just making the argument that
I'm
for example, take LeBron 61-point game. He had 33 shots for 60 points. That absolutely is.
Well, you understand the context, though, right?
Yeah, I get the context.
For most niggas,
you also gotta understand the context I'm trying to give, bro.
For most niggas, when they score 60, it's because they got hot.
Yeah,
nigga.
Exactly.
Kobe scored 60 because he was taking a bunch of shots. Like, he was chucking, nigga. Nobody will deny that. He didn't do it ineffectively. He didn't do it ineffectively, though.
Yeah, most people when they get to 60, like he's saying,
I don't know about that.
Most people when they get to 60, they're in the middle of a really good game, so they're not having an off night. Normally, if you're having an off night like Kobe, they wouldn't even attempt as many shots as Kobe was attempting. They just wouldn't do it. But that doesn't mean that what Kobe was doing was by then default inefficient. It just means that normally when people start to attempt that many shots, they do so because they're having a good night, not because they're inefficient. Like that doesn't no. But again, if you're gauging it based off of the shot attempts that Kobe took in contrast to how many points he was scoring, once more, bro, if Kobe, if you look at you go look at LeBron's career, it will take LeBron 20 shot attempts to get to about 30 points. That is a 10 difference between shot attempts and points scored. The same one with Kobe. Furthermore, if it took Kobe 50 shot attempts to get to 60 points, that would also not only mean that he probably shot a lot of, if I'm not mistaken, I think he just shot a lot of threes, which he shot really bad on threes that game. But nevertheless, I mean, it was still efficient, or a bare minimum league average, but it wasn't inefficient.
I'm gonna call it a league average, bro.
Our league average. That's fine. League average.
Yeah.
It's just not inefficient though. Definitely not inefficient. But all right, thanks, man. Hey, yo, Eli.
Were you moved by that argument, Lo?
No, I wasn't. Yo, Eli, I'm a really fuck him up with this video. Hey, let me bring Class in here. Let me tell you what the video I'm really gonna fuck him up with. Let me tell you the video I'm really gonna fuck him up.
Talk to me.
I'm gonna bring him. Ash, this nigga Ash is spamming it. Jesus, I'm gonna really fuck him.
Talk about Harden's efficiency.
Kobe was above league average in that last game, by the way. Just saying.
Okay, he was above.
You a big ass nigga for making me sit through that.
Oh my God, Jesus! I'm gonna really fuck him up when I make a video trying to explain to niggas that Shaq in 2000, either 1 or 2, if teams did nothing but hack the Shaq throughout the entire season in 2001 or in 2000, I can't remember which year it was.
Hey, don't expose the research, bro. You gotta.
Are you gonna say it would still be
Eli? Not only would it still be efficient basketball for them to just do nothing but hack Shaq, but the Lakers would have one of the better net ratings in the NBA that year and still would have won a championship.
I thought that the idea that Hack and Shaq was a bad, like it wasn't like as big of a deal as niggas made it. Was like a routine thought. The only way,
it was. Unfortunately, it's not.
To be for real, the only way that like it's a good idea to hack a nigga is if he's shooting like 40%. So I guess Shaq and
what are you even talking about? Yo, Eli, shut up for a sec, bro.
Oh wow,
Lo, what are you talking about right now, bro? What is this? If you don't use true shooting, if you don't true shooting, then you are a coward. First off, learn how to spell, you stupid ass nigga.
You knew what he meant, bro. Why are you?
You know what? No wonder your ass was. You know what? Never mind, bro. But like, first fix that shit.
You said no wonder he was failing in school. Why you bringing it up?
I didn't say all that, but hey, if the shoe fits, man. If the shoe fits.
This nigga clapped.
The shoe
gave himself a round of applause.
The shoe admittedly fits, by the way.
Hey, if the shoe fits, I guess. But listen, first off,
hey man, multi-millionaire still, so you can't even say that.
All right, hop off his dick.
Get on, buddy.
Hop off his dick.
You're mad.
What are you, Ash? What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say, what is this, bro? Like, what is?
No, it's just the video. The video I just made about Kobe, and there's people who are having this they're having a hard time understanding the complexities of true shooting percentage, which honestly is not that complex, and they still want to use field goal percentage as a measurement of efficiency.
My high school coaches use true shooting percentage, by the way.
When it's literally
there's no effective field goal percentage.
Or even effective field goal percentage be better than field goal percentage, but there's literally no way in this world that you can use field goal percentage to measure efficiency. There just isn't a way. There's not a way. It doesn't.
It undersells people like Shaq and Zion a lot because of putbacks. I mean, like every efficiency stat does that anyway.
Yeah, that's one. I guess that's one.
But field goal percentage does it the most.
Even Jokic, because the way Jokic be grabbing offense, that's why I say use points per possession. Like,
I mean, to be honest, bro, Jokic is mid. Unless you check out the latest Classy Speaks video, that explains why he's not.
Okay, bro.
The dick sucking that goes on between you three is insane, bro. I ain't never seen some shit.
Yo, but that video where I'm gonna try to explain to these niggas, Hacker Shaq would have still won him a championship. Niggas gonna be upset.
Did you check out the document?
Nigga doesn't know how the English language that wants to tell us how basketball works. Somebody make it make sense.
I mean, they were just one of the best offenses, period, in NBA history based off Hacker Shaq, to be honest.
Facts.
Bro, especially in that era, Hacker Shaq was good. Oh, bro. As long as he hit them bitches at the same rate he did in the regular season. Unless
I think in 2002, if I'm not mistaken, he shot like 56% from the free throw line.
like I guess series by series it made sense. Like if he was having a rough time shooting free throws, like the 2000 playoffs or finals, that is, I guess it makes sense. But like that's a singular series. That's not the whole.
If I am not mistaken, I think in 2002, because this is the reason why I'm specifically saying 2002. In 2002, not only he shot 55% from the free throw line during the regular season. He shot 65% during the playoffs, and I do not think that there was a single series in the playoffs where he shot sub 53%.
Yeah, he did that for but then there's playoff years where it made sense, like 2000 to 99. What the fuck? He shot.
Oh no, there's several ones.
He shot 39% in 96. How the fuck?
Yeah, there's definitely
Ruby and Max.
How the fuck do you shoot 39% in a 12?
Yo, to the people who just came in here, y'all better. I gotta get this nigga Ash out of here.
Yo, chill out, gang. Chill out. It's a banger theme.
Yo, to the people who got in here, y'all let me know if y'all have any questions before.
I got a question about true shooting. Why is it better than TS Plus? No cap.
What? It's the same stack.
No, it's not, bro.
One is just relative to
what is. I'm about to say, but that
TS Plus is better, bro.
We basically been arguing. We basically been talking about relative as well, because the nigga. I don't know if you saw the Eli put his shit in here. The nigga above, he was saying how Trae Young isn't efficient, and I was trying to explain to him how efficiency goes up practically every year, which is why you compare.
He wasn't in that Heat series, loser.
Yo, we did strap that young nigga.
Well, I'm about to say, but that's the reason why you compare everything relative to the year in which they played.
I think what Classy is
arguing
is like the raw difference between it versus like the gap or the proportion to it. Because true shooting plus is
you gotta go proportion to some bitches, little bro.
True shooting plus is true shooting percentage divided by the league average. And obviously, relative true shooting percentage is true shooting percentage minus the league average. And then it's like, I guess, like true shooting plus.
But it's all still in
it's
contrast.
A marginal difference. So Classy is just asking that question. And then Classy, you would have to get somebody that has like actual background in mathematics to tell you why. Like, I can tell you what other niggas have told me and why I think.
But it's all it's
still true shooting percentage at the end.
Yeah, it's still true shooting in contrast to what you call it. Yo, what's up?
It's Han. But why do people? Okay, hold on.
I'm I'm be honest with you. I'm be honest with you, nigga. I'm happy you follow me. I'm happy you support me, but I do not know who you are, nigga. So
yo, Lo, can you respect my fans, bro? He's one of my subscribers, bro.
Nah, but that's crazy, bro. He said, "What's up?" It's Han, bro. First off, how you not know who Han is, bro?
He's introducing himself, and you saying I don't know.
No, but he's a dedicated follower. You just a hating ass nigga. So
Han, what's up?
Like, I was just wondering, like, why do people think Michael Jordan was efficient in the 96 finals? Like,
why do you get no bitches? How about that? How about you answer that question first?
You can go.
Why do you get no bitches?
Yo, we're gonna have to move Ash out of here. We're gonna have to remove Ash.
I'm not gonna let Jordan slander happen. I'm sorry.
Hey yo, if that's what we doing, I got a lot of. Why do niggas always talk about the Jordan rules, but they don't ever talk about how the nigga was ass in Game 5 and then turned the ball over 7 times in Game 6 and missed
Wade fan, by the way.
Missed like
this is a D Wade fan.
Niggas don't ever talk about.
You get no bitches for this. Okay. You get no pussy for this,
talk about
Take your ass home, you bitch ass nigga. Kobe better.
Why that nigga miss 8 free throws?
Your favorite player? Hold on.
Keep crying, nigga. Kobe better.
Why that nigga miss 8 free throws in a do or die game?
Your favorite player wore a Band-Aid as drip. Like, what are we talking about?
Now, so you got
he just cooked you, no.
Yo, MJ supposed to be the greatest scorer ever. Why the fuck that nigga take 8 shots in Game 5, bro?
Yo, to answer
why
the
fuck
Han's
you get
question,
no bitches, you ugly ass nigga?
Yo, to answer Han's
nigga
question,
was looking like Harden.
Yes, it was a bad.
Nigga was looking like Harden out there. You're a D.
To answer Han's question, yes, it was a bad series, and yes, it was an inefficient one. Even if I were to give Jordan some leeway, just because the defense that he was facing up against was a very great defensive team. Even if I were to do that, it was still just a really bad series for him.
Well, I mean, it wasn't really bad offensively. It was a mid-scoring series, but he was pretty good in every.
Yeah, but
we
of course we're talking about scoring. Jeez.
Talk about Michael
It wasn't bad
Jordan
scoring.
classic.
It was mid.
Yes.
Why are you trolling?
Stop muting this fucking space, you ugly ass nigga. What is wrong with you?
Yo, real talk. What's the question?
What's up with you?
Oh shit, is that the police outside my house? What the fuck?
I had a question about, well, number one, the true shooting. Anybody that doesn't, get it by now, I don't know what to tell you. But I was actually looking at volume scores, kind of like 80s, 90s compared to that 2000s run. I do know that you have a video. I believe so. You have a video on how like the rule changes didn't affect scoring. It was done like I think a few years ago.
Yeah, 2019. It was 2019.
It spread out. Yeah.
Yeah, get off the nigga dick.
No.
Where do I keep getting this?
See how you lag?
Fans, nobody likes his video.
That's why Harden sucks, nigga.
Jeez. All right.
You a ugly ass.
Please finish. Jeez.
So basically, I think you were saying in that video that like the rule changes didn't impact the scoring. Wasn't that the argument?
No, that was the other guy's argument.
Jimmy was basically, which is a really good video to reference. And on top of that, Ben Taylor just uploaded another video, further pushing what I was trying to explain to people back then. That the rule changes, and I personally believe, and that's the reason why I was about to go on stream, because I wanted to watch that video. The rule changes in the
shit is 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know it's a crazy video.
It was great though, like the content, the information.
It was good. It's a really good video. But the rule changes that occurred in the late '90s and early 2000s probably is the most influential thing that's happened to modern NBA. Mainly, it just allowed the defenses to really do whatever they please, which then forces offense to evolve to where they are right now.
I think that is overblown though. I felt like Jordan was still saying some of the best defensive coverages for.
But I have a question.
But what I was really getting at though was because I started looking throughout the discussion while y'all were allowing the guy to compare Kobe's last game to LeBron's peak performance. That was crazy. But that was insane. A lot of volume scorers like during that time were shooting near or at 50%, and then we see like a complete dip by like those 2000 years, like the Iversons, the Tracy McGrady's, Kobe's.
It was the second best defensive era of all time in the 2000s.
But I also think it was the least efficiently played version of basketball.
Correlation.
It's so ugly to watch.
In this case, the correlation and causation apply here, because you had teams like the Detroit Pistons, you had the Spurs, you had even the early Cavaliers before Sean Kemp got completely fat. They were a pretty good defensive team.
You also had like rule changes to where defenses could pre-rotate, zone up, but then you still had like the play style of the 80s and 90s.
Tough shot making was kind of the best counter.
What real talk is saying is facts. He's spitting.
He's not, because tough shot making was kind of the best counter to these all-time defense. You look at a guy like AI when he gets the Pistons in 05. He kind of forced them, even though he had no help. He averaged like 31 and 11.
05 is a bit different though.
That's when their defense wasn't as good.
If I may ask something,
that's a 1 year.
Ben Wallace was no longer on there, was he? During 05?
No, that was
it was really by the mid 2000s. I'm gonna let Han go, but by the mid 2000s they had further reduced the impact of hand checking. So like that was also a part of it.
It was 1 year removed since the best defensive team since the Celtics, bro.
For sure. I'm not saying
but then they got worse from year to year. They went from the best defense ever to a very good, very great defense.
Han, what were you saying? Were you about to say, Han?
No, I was just
amazing,
saying, shouldn't we value
nigga, it's just the
scoring in the 90s a little bit lower especially due to like helping being illegal.
Helping was not illegal. Okay, let me.
Well, okay. But like,
pre-help
okay,
was.
This is what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. Okay, let me. Okay, let me just say this because this is another reason why I wanted to hop on stream because I think there's a massive representation. So to what Real Talk was saying, this is my belief. I believe that the 2000s, especially the early 2000s, was the most difficult era to score in, not only because they allowed the rules
Respect the
changed.
60s?
Well, I'm talking about a modern NBA. Niggas talking about 50s and 60s. I don't give a fuck. In in the modern NBA, but the reason why is because the rules had changed, but also the identity of how teams are still playing basketball was a representation of 90s and 80s basketball because they made so many massive rule changes that it was hard for offenses to keep up at that time because at that time the concept of positioning and floor spacing had not yet been thoroughly explored because there was really no need to because you could really just manipulate defenses through positioning and floor spacing because of illegal defensive rules. So because of this, you had several teams that was running out there with lineups with 3 non-floor spacers, and they weren't able to be properly punished because of the lack of floor spacing, because of illegal defensive rules that didn't allow the proper amount of help to be sent that needed to be sent. So then when the help was being able to be sent, now you had all of these teams that were structured in a manner in which was not able to combat zone defenses and inadequate rotation and help defenses, which then
Many were
subsequently
still playing with 2 big men at the same
that also goes with the
Spurs.
non-floor spacing. So that subsequently
The
led
low
Defense is
gas
Kobe
Duncan
killed.
defense.
that led to not only defenses being inflated to the point where they were able to really pick apart offenses, but also offenses looking extremely stagnant because, like Classy said, the only way that teams really comprehended how to beat those type of defenses was with very, very tough shot making. So because of that, yeah, everything more or less at best was stagnant or more or less really fell off offensively. But it was something that needed to happen anyway because it all aided us to where we are today. Because the more people comprehended position and floor spacing, the more we got better 3-point shooters. Then that expanded even further out to 3-point shooters at the power forward position, which then expanded out to, okay, we need better playmakers at each positions as well. Like it just continued to evolve because defenses were able to adapt and evolve along with the offenses as well.
So I have another question. So what and this is kind of for the whole panel, what is the new, and this is for the don't want to use true shooting percentage, but I remember like back then it was acceptable that a small guard like an AI shot like 41-42% at a high volume. But with like the rule changes and the amount of spacing that's been introduced to the game, as far as just raw field goal percentage, is 50% now like the new like baseline? Is that what we should be
Are we
expecting
looking
now?
at that wrong?
Wait, what do you mean? You mean it's 50% field goal percentage? What are you saying?
Yeah, like for good scores, for great scores.
Well, you shouldn't be using. I just feel you
Field goal
shouldn't use it.
percentage is a
Field goal
cooked at.
percentage at
Yeah,
all.
you just
No,
shouldn't because
I'm not. I understand. I'm not trying to argue that. I do understand the true shooting. I'm saying just like the Kobe shooting 45% then was like good. That was acceptable. But we still like translate to now where you have guys like in a more optimal situation
No,
still
bro,
basically
because people
hovering
like
around
Zion,
but it's not.
45%.
But it's not.
even the super
Yeah,
efficient scorers like Zion get underrated by field goal percentage. Like him shooting
yeah.
45% on an efficiency stat doesn't even make much sense.
It's not. There is no there. Quite honestly, I understand what you're saying because yeah, when I was growing up, like 45% for a guard was just viewed as like, oh no, like he's fine. Like that was a passable field goal percentage. But the reality is that in today's game, like that doesn't work, and largely because of the amount of 3-point percentage that they're shooting. Because back then, when we were watching basketball, they were only attempting like 3 3-pointers. So their field goal percentage was never really going to plummet because they weren't even attempting that many
Even if you're not
three-pointers.
using true shooting percentage, you should never even mention field goal
Yeah,
percentage. Like
field goal percentage
go
shouldn't
to
even. It
you
just
should be
shouldn't be.
like two and even the old method that we used to that people used to use, which is like field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage. Just replace field goal percentage with 2-point percentage in that case. Like if you actually want to see interior scoring versus exterior scoring, is that what you would call it? Yeah.
I guess or perimeter
Yeah,
scoring.
No,
But
Kizzy, I
That
just
is
created a new
nasty.
term, bro.
it is very nasty because whatever. But to real talk's point, I understand where you're coming from because yeah, like I grew up off of that same ideology. But like for example, if Curry and Dame and them, if they were not shooting as many threes as they were shooting right now, their field goal percentage will be higher because they're not shooting shots that would bring down their field goal percentage. Their field goal percentage will be much higher because of the 3-point percentage more or less brings it down because they're not as accurate as they are with their 2-pointers. But if they did that, they would also subsequently be making fewer points as well, which is why that's the true metric of efficiency. Efficiency should not just be catered to what the percentages say. It's also based off of how many points you are producing off of those shot attempts as well, which is why true shooting actually gets us to that point. But there is no answer. There's guards like Ja Morant who don't shoot that many threes, who's going to have a high field goal percentage, but is still less efficient than somebody like Curry or Dame because they're still scoring more points off of the shot attempts. So they're still going to be more efficient. So what's his name? Well, let me just say this real quick. Ja Morant.
So basically, what y'all are saying, like, because the hard twos are swapped with threes, and so what? Basically,
yes.
all I was like trying to say is like I guess the cap kind of is around 50% as far as a volume shooter, like as far as what we're supposed to expect out of them.
Not really. Not really. Giannis and Zion are probably going to shoot above 50%. So
Well,
is
I'm saying
Jokic.
like perimeter-oriented players.
Oh, I wouldn't even say that. Curry had a year where he was over, or he was. I guess he was
Okay,
right.
that's the greatest shooter of all time, though. I'm
But
outside.
I don't know of what other. I don't know of what other. Like to be also fair, like Ja Morant this season was like 49. This is his third year in the NBA. Like I don't know, he might have a season where he's 51%. But just because he's at a year in which his field goal percentage is like 51, 52, that still would not mean that he would be more efficient than somebody like Curry who may have a field goal percentage like 47. Because if Curry is still shooting the three ball at the rate in which we all believe that he's going to continue to do so, there's still a really good likelihood that he will still be more efficient than Ja Morant, even if Ja Morant was making his field goal percentage was at like 51, 52%. There's still a really good likelihood that Curry would still be more efficient than him.
Oh yeah, I get that. I guess all I was saying really was like as we've gone through basketball, the different eras, like the floor and the expectation for a volume score, like has gone up as far as like the efficiency. So like way back in the day, if you were shooting around 40%, that was cool. Then we get like to 70s, 80s, 90s. Well, actually, that was when, like I said, they were shooting around 50%, but that was different rules. But when we got like back towards the 2000s, it was like cool that, somebody shot like 44, 43, 42%. And so we need to up that. Does the rule changes mean we need to up that general thinking?
It just means we don't need to use it anymore. When we were looking at basketball back then, we were just wrong. It was more socially. It wasn't that big of a deal for us to be wrong though, because there weren't that many people shooting threes. So it wasn't the end of the world. But even when the players were shooting threes, because I remember like the way that people were talking about Ray Allen wasn't the same way that we view him now. But we were just viewing the game of basketball through an incorrect lens. So there was no real way for us to really put to
that's
the
crazy
proper.
how you couldn't apply that context to Reggie. and his All NBA selection.
Okay, all right. We're talking about something else now. But the way that we used to talk about Ray Allen or view him as a volume scorer in contrast to other volume scorers was just incorrect. But I remember though when I was growing up, the way that we talked about Ray Allen was as if like he was just as efficient as like Kobe or Tracy McGrady, even though that was not the case. It just wasn't. And the way that we talked about like Wade, when he was shooting high 40s, it was like he was the most efficient guard, even though Ray Allen still was more efficient than him. So it's still we were viewing it wrong.
Gotcha.
It wasn't that big of a deal though back then because again, outside of really Ray Allen, there really wasn't that many volume scorers that were shooting threes at such an abundant rate to where it mattered as much. But we were literally viewing it wrong.
But like this, what I was just trying to say is that we should value 50, 40, 90 seasons less. Because when you look at a guy like Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving was 50, 40, 90 last season in 2021. And Curry in 2021 was still more efficient via true shooting. And
that's because of the side selection, you know.
Right, that's going to be so. As far as efficiency, as far like Low said,
no, I know. I'm saying, but we should just value
a 3 is going to be
40,
worth more than a 2. So,
really quick, can I ask something? Am I on?
Yeah.
You gotta hurry.
Okay.
Gotta bounce.
When at the beginning of this conversation, it seemed like they said something about average. So are you talking about the average superstar or the average player? Because the average player is vastly different from the superstar. So I'm just trying to get some clarity on that.
Well, the way that many people are using efficiency, the standard in which we're looking at league average. But even if we were to up the bar to superstar, many of the things that we're saying would still stand true.
But didn't you mention that the average, or somebody said something about the average being 50%? That's greatly more than what I believe it would be. I feel like it would be like 42% from the field or something like that, 42, 45. I can look at that.
No, he was just saying if we were to increase it, should we increase it all the way to 50%? What I'm saying,
increase what?
And what many of us are saying is that field goal percentage, adjusting field goal percentage to try to adjust that to correlate to this new age of efficiency still doesn't do anything. John Morant next season could have a field goal percentage of 51%, which is a higher field goal percentage than Stephen Curry has ever had at any point in his career. And he could still be less efficient than Curry.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think, though, just real quick. We talk about the difference in errors or whatever. So, Stockton averaged 12 a game, right? And Malone and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got the most points, period, ever. So it's just like, if you try to, can you try to adjust it to say that we now see LeBron probably going to get it, but we're not going to see Chris Paul past Stockton. We're not going to see Trae Young past Stockton. So they still have to do it regardless of whatever era they're in. Like the simple fact that you said you don't care about 50, 40, 90, they still have to do it. And the people that do it, if it didn't matter, it would be getting 10, 20 people a season doing that. But it's only like 2 or 3. So it's still
to
the
clarify. That wasn't my statement. My statement was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My statement was we should value 50, 40, 90 seasons a lot less because it doesn't always mean that you're more efficient than another player.
I mean, I think the point, the celebration of that stat is just the celebration of like the accuracy of which they shot the entire season.
It's the impressiveness.
Now it's easier. I know it's easy to just translate 50, 40, 90 to some level of efficiency because more than likely it does correlate with that. But you're technically right. A nigga shooting 50, 40, 90 and he's attempting
I saw Chris Middleton
three free throws.
Not moved.
Like, yeah.
So when Chris Middleton almost did it, I was not moved by that stat, bro. So
respect Chris Middleton. He was like
good,
60.
Yeah, please put respect on that.
Chris Middleton.
I'm good. Keegan Murray will be better than that.
Cash Money Chris is so underrated, bro.
Cash Money Keegan is better.
So. Middleton is not that good. What about to say?
That's disgusting.
Keegan is so mid, bro. Why are you talking about Keegan?
Better. He's better than. He's gonna be better than Chris. So
No,
He's supercharged Chris Middleton, bro.
Who was the? Wait, I was about to say something. Oh yeah. So long story short, the when looking back in errors, if you look at true shooting, it's still going to tell you like back in previous eras that players were efficient. It's not going to like adjust anything. Like Michael Jordan is still very much so efficient. Like he has years where he's like 6, 7, 8% above league average efficiency.
Bro's trying to gas and never been past 8. Trying to make him seem like he LeBron.
I didn't say past 8. I said 6, 7.
Never
8.
even been close to 8, bro. You trying to make it something is not, bro. He mad.
Well, when wasn't in 88 or 87 when he had a true shooting of like 61%? Wasn't that not like 7%?
7, yeah, but not 8. That you trying to make it 8.
Okay, nigga, whatever. Got. Anyway, yeah. So like even when you go back and throughout NBA, even when you go back throughout NBA history, the numbers still point to the fact that true shooting will still reveal what you already were thinking about. It just puts a better context to what exactly we saw rather than just field goal percentage. Because I think even Isaiah Thomas was speaking about how implementing the 3-point line really opened up the game for guards because it was just very easy for teams back then and coaches back then to just wave off guard play because it was just viewed as inefficient, which technically it was, especially when they weren't attempting that many threes. But when you implement a 3-point line, it actually allows you to thoroughly it allows people to put a better perspective on what guards can potentially do because of their 3-point abilities, especially their abilities to get to the free throw line as well. But when you look at it, it's not going to change. It's not going to really change much. It's going to more or less show you the exact same thing that you were already concluding, that a lot of these players that you thought were already efficient are still much so efficient. Like, it's not going to change anything. I think people get afraid of it just because of the whole free throw line thing. But I think today we have debunked the concept of like free throw lines, the foul baiters. They don't really inflate it as much as y'all think that they do.
And the reason 50, 40, 90 is still impressive, just to clarify for like guys like Chris Middleton and Kyrie, is because of the shot quality they're doing it on. Like, they're obviously like bucket getters, so they're not doing it on like, you know what I'm saying?
What is a bucket getter? You know,
a nigga who gets a bucket.
Somebody gets buckets, bro.
Oh my god!
Be for real, bro.
This sounds like bag talk. I don't know.
Niggas say you talking bag talk.
Is it bad to talk bag talk?
Yeah, not on my space.
Yeah, Low has convinced y'all
bag
that
talk is
that's
nasty.
not
bag
a
talk
conversation worth
not
having.
Not in my spaces.
It still is.
Not in my spaces.
Bro, Low, everything you're saying, I was saying 3 years ago, bro. I can talk about bag talk if I want to and still understand the concept.
I created you. Come on, let's chill out for a second.
Nah, let's pipe down, bro. I didn't even know who you were 3 years ago.
Bro, I got a question.
Stop.
That's a lie.
That's not what the DM say.
I got a question about Jordan and LeBron about who is the better scorer, the most efficient scorer.
All right, bro.
Now, they say something that came to my mind that I gotta ask. Does Low consider Jordan more efficient than LeBron?
Jordan is a better scorer.
No, Jordan is not more efficient, bro.
Not gonna lie, has Jordan have a better scoring season in 2018, bro?
I don't know. I don't. To answer, honest LeBron fan. I want to make sure I say your name before I answer this question. Honest LeBron fan. No, in terms of scoring, if I'm not mistaken, I believe LeBron had, especially at his peak, was peaking higher than Jordan was.
From an efficiency standpoint, right?
From an efficiency standpoint,
efficiency.
Yeah, from a scoring efficiency standpoint, yes, if I'm not mistaken.
But just scoring the basketball, sadly, Jordan Gamble was better.
Yeah, he was.
LeBron has a better total shooting than Jordan. Man, that's so cringe.
What?
Because LeBron shoots more threes, so I believe his.
I mean, that counts though. Man.
No, even if you look at their relative and just look at comparing them to their own like league average, it would still, if I'm not mistaken, LeBron is still higher.
Yeah, but
thank you, Low. You know, ball.
Did you watch the Serbia Slovenia friendly?
All right, fine.
But the gap.
Okay.
So
There's
let
no way
me
you're gonna brush
wait.
it
Let me
off.
say this real quick because I'm about to go. But the gap between their relative true shooting isn't that wide. So because of that, like if the gap was like 3-4+% in favor of LeBron, then I would say LeBron. But I think the gap is like 1% if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the gap is 1%.
So because the gap is 1%, then we can go into further context, and we all know that LeBron's he ain't got a bag like Jordan. Come on, dog.
Okay.
Oh God, he can't shoot that mid range the
He
same.
ain't got a bag. He ain't got a bag like Jordan, dog.
Jordan
He
shoot a
can't
three.
take
Bro,
that fade away. He can't take that.
You don't want to
fade
start this, bro.
He ain't got that bag like Jordan.
Bron,
He's just
I'm gonna
trolling.
say bag
So
is just
LeBron's
same.
bag is a
They
pass.
bag is the fucking same. They bag is the fucking same. Let's
Their
keep this
bag
that.
is
You
not the
all need
oh
to
my
wake
God.
No,
up.
it's
You all need
not.
to
Oh
wake
my
up,
God.
Pets.
No, it's not.
No,
Bro, they
LeBron
shoot
doesn't have the
contact. They stay above the rim and they
mentality.
shoot from post fades.
LeBron don't
One
got that
passes more.
mentality.
One shoots more shots. The other one may pass out more. But they both attack. They both finish above the rim and they both shoot post fades.
LeBron get a lot of shots up. Don't cap on him.
Bro, they
LeBron does
game
not
like
shoot post fades at the same rate as
yeah,
Michael
not
Jordan.
nearly
What
the
are we
same rate.
doing?
maybe not the same rate, but I mean Jordan don't shoot as
Nigga,
many
at this
threes as
point, y'all
LeBron,
niggas,
but it's still
at this point, y'all
ain't that
niggas gonna
different.
start saying Kawhi is a better
I
scorer.
know, but the gap between Jordan and LeBron's mid range shooting and post shooting is much further than
I'll give you
fucking.
that, but to say that Jordan had a much bigger bag, bro, come on, bro.
Who has a bigger bag? Who has a
Jordan's
bigger
bag is
bag?
not
Who has
that
a
deep.
bigger bag?
LeBron has
Shut
a
up.
bag.
We're
They
talking
bag
about
is
a
they
bag
bag
right
is the
now.
same size, in
Jordan's
my
bag is
opinion.
not that deep,
They
bro.
bag the Jordan bag ain't that deep, bro. Thank you, because it ain't.
Jordan back are just
LeBron back
fadeaways,
not that
bro.
deep neither.
And
Stop playing.
Like
layups.
Jordan
It's the same
diversity,
size. I'm arguing that they got the same fucking
Jordan
bag.
diversity and handle is not there, bro. Let's
Bro,
be
they both
It's
No, I'm
not.
they
not.
both
You're not saying
bro,
that. But
they both
Bro,
who has a
handles
bigger
are not part
bag?
of the
bro,
bag.
they both went to
All right,
the
It's
y'all
a
like
mid
same
Desi
off.
Clean Twitter, huh?
It is
It's a
yo, y'all niggas saying that these niggas is a
Desi
mid off
Clean
is
niggas.
crazy.
It's a mid off and bag, bro. Come on.
No, it's not.
It's
bro,
not a mid back, but it's not a
Jordan
better
is
they
a
don't have
bro.
bag, bro.
Jordan is a
bro.
Bro,
footwork
y'all not
person.
finishing
So
like Bron. I mean, like
They don't
Jordan,
not
have
Bron, like MJ.
bro. Bro,
They're both great
LeBron
finishers,
got
but
more
like,
bro.
finishing
Let's be
than
for
bro,
real.
Jordan
LeBron
like
is
crazy with
16.
both hands. What y'all talking about? No
Jordan and
bag.
Braun are both.
LeBron is left-handed. What are you talking about?
LeBron is both-handed, but they both got the same bag, bro. They
Right,
both
like
went to
yeah.
the store. They both went to the
LeBron
store
is
and
the
bought the same
greatest
fucking
driver
bag.
in basketball history, bro.
If
No,
they both had the same bag, you should have been telling LeBron to make some mid range shots in 2011. Then
Facts.
I mean,
Bro, he's
cool.
just
Oh wow.
trolling. He's just
I
You
mean,
should have told
bro,
MJ
he's
to do
just
that in
trolling,
'96,
bro.
he
He's
Logan.
was
just
trolling. He was
Should
trolling.
told
trolling.
MJ to
LeBron,
step up and take a
LeBron did do
three in
that.
the
LeBron
'99
LeBron ain't
did
never
do
finals.
got
that.
outplayed by
Yes,
Sean Kemp.
he
Hey,
should.
Low is
LeBron
just
did do
trolling.
that. LeBron did do that whenever he beat my team in 2016.
Bro, why
That's
is
the
he
only time my
actually
Did
mad?
team
y'all
did
know
that.
that? Wait. This is random, but did y'all know Isaiah Thomas won a playoff game by 15 points, shooting 1 for 11? This the nigga y'all say is better than CP3 because of 2 championships, bro. Where he was
Well, I mean,
14,
he's better than D
where
Wade,
he was,
so
He's
where
better
he
Bro, a
than
was
bad
carrying.
game
Oh my God.
does not mean
You're
anything,
He
bro.
is not better than Dwayne Wade.
I
He's better
classy.
than
mean,
A
Kobe.
check the
bad
rings.
game, you
Check the
He's better
cannot
rings.
than
use
CP3.
one
He's
bad
not better
game,
than
bro.
D
He's
D
Wade.
better
Wade
than D
has
Wade.
more.
D-Ray
He's
has
not
more
better than
rings.
I'm
What are you
saying rings
talking
as the
about?
first option, by the way.
He's not better than
I'm
D
not
Wade.
counting rings
Better than
D
next
that.
to
Wade,
what
D Wade
LeBron has
has
said.
the
It's
same
still
amount.
1-1. It's still
No,
1-1.
I'm talking about LeBron and Shaq rings don't count, by
Bro,
the way.
nigga,
Just saying.
Isaiah was not the first option in 8
Yes,
rounds.
he was.
This
Yes,
man
he was.
said Shaq rings don't
Dumars
count.
was better,
Go
bro.
check Kobe's
Stop
playoff
writing on.
run
Hey,
during
hey,
the.
hey, hey,
I
hey,
ain't
hey,
gonna
hey,
lie,
hey,
Joe
hey, hey,
Dumars
hey,
is
hey,
the
hey, hey,
bucket
hey,
though.
Oh my God.
Joe
hey,
Dumars
hey.
nice.
Slow down.
Tracy McGrady's
This
overrated.
nigga said, "Hey, slow down."
We're not
Slow down,
Tracy
finna,
my.
we're not
Slow to
finna,
your
McGrady
parole.
is
talk about Zeke
nasty.
like he was
Yo,
overrated.
wait. I gotta ask Classy because I gotta go. Classy, who had a bigger bag?
Who?
It's a mid off.
LeBron, or Jordan?
Michael Jeffrey Jordan has the best
Thank
bag of
you.
all
Nigga,
time.
I've
He's
No,
never
not.
not the
That
seen.
is a
best.
lie.
Oh
All
my. All right, nigga,
He
you're
does.
gassing. He did not have the best bag of all time.
His crossover was probably the best, just the quickest crossover I've ever seen in the history of the
Nigga, he does
game.
not have the
His
best
layup
bag of all
Let
time.
me explain. Let me explain before
Nigga,
you
Kobe's
on my
bag is
meat right
deeper than
now.
his.
You on my meat right now. Let me explain the game to you. Let me break it down to you. The layup package, his pre-proception was insane. The way he could take it from his right to his left hand midair, had that hang time. You can't teach that type of skill, man. And then he had that through the leg crossover. Such an explosive crossover. right? And then you got that behind the back, running to the lane, and then he can hit you with a Euro step. He can hit you with a spin. He could take off from the free throw line if he wanted to, and he just stays up in the air for such a long time. The best bag of all time, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
No, Michael Jordan
dumb
be
as
have
hell.
that spin.
Bro, you
See how they get mad at the GOAT.
That's
They
all
get
I
mad
heard,
at the
nigga.
GOAT.
He does not have the best back.
Bro, that nigga Bro, be for
that
real,
was some
Classy. That nigga's
crazy
crossover is
dedicated,
not
bro.
like that. You've never seen that nigga do an Ivo crossover, bro.
Yes, I have.
Pull up a Jordan crossover.
He's the king of the crossover.
Pull it up, nigga.
Yeah,
Pull up a Jordan crossover mixtape.
And no, hold on, I forgot to dive into his triple threat game. He has the GOAT triple threat game, man. When he takes that nice little hezzy one step and then explodes off his right foot. Oh my God, that's just peak. Oh my God, that's peak basketball, bro. I'm about to go watch some Jordan film, bro.
Triple threat is a better argument, but not crossover, nigga.
I mean, his handle is all time great. Like you don't think he was blown by the first line of defense with that crossover very often.
Right.
But we can get back into the triple threat game. He takes that one right step, one dribble, get to that pull up mid range. Oh my God.
You're gassing it, Classy. You're gassing.
Nigga, he don't even got a better triple threat game than Melo. Be for real, bro. Melo,
He's trolling.
I'm removing the D-Wade fan.
Eli just
He's
walk
trolling.
away with this blasphemy.
Troll. Random troll. Said Carmelo got a better triple threat than the GOAT, the greatest scorer of all time. He does not.
No,
I ain't gonna lie.
Bro, how can you take it this much, bro?
Y'all niggas gonna wait. Y'all niggas can say anything about Melo being a loser, Melo this, Melo that, Melo in a
triple threat. He might have had a point.
When you talk about triple threat, Carmelo get into that one dribble, pound, sidestep, splash your fucking
This is nasty.